G'day guys, Josh here. Well, we've had ESL Pro League, Group B finally been finished, and now we have to wait a little bit longer for ESL Pro League Group C. And I'm actually a bit surprised. I thought it was actually going to be on this Tuesday. Then I took a look at the calendar, and it's like, oh, it's on next Thursday. So I guess the break's a bit uneven, I'm going to say, because I saw a nip flying in today, and I'm like, well, you guys just basically get there, and it's just bam, game's on. It's just like, wouldn't you like want to be there a bit earlier? But I found out it was a bit later. So let's talk about that overall. So let's go to Group B. So Group B finished off yesterday, and I've got to say, I didn't do too badly actually. Let me just pop it off for you guys as well. I didn't do too badly for this actually when you think about it. Because, we got the top two picks, right, being, Mouse and Heroic making. I mean, they were the massive favorites going into this, given that a lot of other teams had a form slump. We had actually, funnily enough, Imperial going out on the last chance bracket, which I said as well, Imperial are not good enough. And also as well, we got three out of the four teams correct with Furia, Heroic, and Mouse going through. The ones that got wrong was definitely Complexity. Complexity were a massive disappointment in Group B. I felt Complexity would actually qualify in third place, but clearly they didn't. And Furia, well, expected to be in last chance, but Big and Movistar did some massive W's in those lower brackets, but Movistar only beat Saw, to be honest, and Saw's not really a big team to beat. But they did 2-0 Complexity, which was huge from Movistar, and they've actually managed to get themselves to the playoffs in the last chance bracket, which is probably the first playoffs. And you've got to give a lot of credit to them. I've got to say, a few teams are going to be disappointed in themselves. It's most likely Complexity, given the fact that they had such a good Katowice run, and they followed up with this giant egg in the ESL Pro League. Now, Heroic and Mouse did exactly as expected. They got in. Heroic had a bit of trouble with Big, though, and Heroic could have had a big blunder, gone from potentially being a lot further in the tournament. Unfortunately, Heroic were able to close it out, wrap it up in OT, and I think basically Heroic are just, well, completely relieved at this point to be number one seed, because potentially they could have been number two seed, and it could have been Big qualifying for the number one seed, but I don't think it would have got past Mouse anyway. It would have been a nice little gem and derby there. Overall, I'm going to say, basically at this point, it's based on Group B, I guess, say Heroic, well, they're looking a bit shaky, and a few teams could probably take targets at them as well when they get to verse them later in the playoffs. I mean, Big almost, took them down, and Big didn't even qualify in the end. They lost to Furia, then they lost to Movistar Riders. I'm not sure if that's more indicative of Big, just dwelling on that missed opportunity, or did they really have a shot at Heroic, or was it just lucky? You never know. Anyways, let's just get out of Group B. I think the expected the results were Imperial and Saw. Those two teams, pretty easy beats, to be honest. Especially Imperial as well. They haven't really shown any sort of form. I think they only won a single map in the entire competition, I believe. No, they won 2 maps overall. But let's go to Group C. So Group C is FaZe, Rooster, Pain, Nip, OG, 00 Nation, and Grayhound Vitality. I guess say this group's kind of similar to Group B, where basically there's a lot of teams that are going to make it. Mainly going to say Vitality and FaZe, they're probably going to make it. You don't know where, though. You got Nip as well, and you got OG. So you got 4 favorites off the bat that you feel that are going to make it. But the main issue is, where are they going to make it? Because, obviously there's first, second, third, fourth, and stuff like that. You just don't know where they're going to make it. And there's also there's these dark horse teams as well, being Pain, who can upset. Greyhound's an outside chance. I don't see anything for 00 Nation or Rooster. I feel like they're going to be just brushed aside, and that last chance fights could basically be between 0 Nation and Rooster. But let's get to the first one. For the upper round bracket, we're going to go taking a look at FaZe and Rooster. With FaZe and Rooster, don't really look at the ratings too much. Basically, if 80k does not show up for Rooster, it's pretty much going to be game over. Okay, let's just be honest. Game over if 80k does not show up for Rooster. Doesn't really matter. And even if 80k does show up, they're still got an uphill battle to climb against FaZe. FaZe should probably sweep this 2-0. Should be really no issue for FaZe at all. Next up, we got Pain v Nip. Should be a similar story here. Nip with Config, Head Trick, and a few others. They've finally got a dedicated AWPer. They should be able to just blast Pain away. Pain, however, can surprise here. I should see Pain get at least 1 map if they win it. Not surprised either way. Pain have got a potential ceiling, and they're slowly coming up to realize it. OGV 00 Nation. OG should take this 2-0. There's been really nothing confident looking at 00 Nation's play at all. There's been nothing, no momentum behind them or anything like that at all. And we should have OG do a quick 2-0 over them as well. Now, some people may be like, oh, the RGL, they've lost Nexa and stuff like that as well. I still think the OG boys still have enough backing, even without the RGL, they can fit under some simple system and should be able to blast out 0-0 Nation regardless. Next up is Grayhound v Vitality. Vitality should be able to get through even with Jax as the IGL. They've got enough firepower inside using Spinks, Magisk, and Jack and Apex to just get it through in the end. They probably wish they had RBK back as well in this lineup instead of Jax. But overall, I'm going to say they should be able to get one up over Grayhound. 2-1 or 2-0 doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Grayhound could spike and win a map here, given that Vitality have a few stand-ins at the moment. That leads up to the lower bracket of being... leads up to the lower bracket of being Pain v Rooster and Grayhound v 0-0 Nation. Now we're going to go to the upper bracket first, which would be FaZe v Nip. I feel like FaZe is going to win that one. FaZe is definitely going to be the most favored team up here. And then going to the next match, which is between OG and Vitality, and I feel OG is going to win that matchup. Main reason why I feel OG is going to win that matchup is that OG, even at the RGL, still has the better firepower than Vitality. Vitality, who have effectively 2 RGLs at this point with both Jax and Apex. Then we get to upper bracket round 3 to round it out between FaZe and OG, and it's going to be FaZe. So FaZe will get the going forward a bit more, and OG will get the second place in the end. Now let's get down to the lower bracket, which will be basically, I believe, would be Pain v Rooster. I feel like Pain will win that matchup quite easily. I mean, Pain's probably up there with Greyhound, I'm going to say, and definitely a lot stronger than this Rooster outfit. I think Pain should be able to sweep on through. And then the next lower bracket between 0-0 Nation and Grayhound, I feel like Grayhound will upset 0-0 Nation. It'll be a big upset. It'll be the first BO3 an Australian team has won against a non-Australian BO3 in quite some time. And as I want to get on with this as well, people have joined my Twitch channel and stuff like that and said, what do you want out of your Australian teams? And I said, I want an Australian team to beat a non-Australian team in a BO3, or at least get to the playoff stage in ESL Pro League. Because, as I said, I'm sick and tired of seeing AU teams just get blundered out within 2 rounds, and every man and his dog being like, why don't I get a spot to the AU teams if they can't even do anything? I just don't want it, okay? It's getting really, really frustrating, and I want to be able to prove those doubters wrong, and I'm sure Grayhound and Rooster want to prove those doubters wrong as they can make playoffs, hopefully. But I don't really think they are going to make playoffs, unfortunately. Even in this group, which is a bit easier than, let's say, if they got put into Group A or Group B, for example. Now, let's continue. Next up with the lower bracket, it'll be both Vitality and Nip coming down, with Vitality taking on Pain and Nip taking on Grayhound. Nip's going to be too strong for Grayhound. They've just got such a good team there as well. Grayhound will be put into the last chance bracket. And vice versa for Pain. Vitality, even with the 2 RGLs, will most be too strong for Pain. I mean, Pain have potential, but they're just not to Vitality's level yet. And it's just going to be veterans versus the inexperienced, and the veterans shall prevail probably 2-1. And last up in the lower round bracket, it'll be Vitality v Nip. Vitality will win that one out, I feel, but it could go either way to Nip as well. You know, this last chance winner and the lower bracket winner basically can go different sort of ways. And I feel Vitality going to win this, probably be close to 2-1, but I would be surprised if Nip also win it as well. Now let's get to the last chance bracket between, it'll be 0 Nation v Rooster. I feel 0-0 Nation will win this 2-1. It'll be a very, very close BO3, but, you know, I hope Rooster win it as well, but I don't see it happening. And then last but not least, we get the last chance bracket number 2, which will be basically 0-0 Nation versus Nip and Pain versus Grayhound. Pain v Grayhound will be another rematch, especially with the previous challenger stage as well with Grayhound between these two teams. It'll be awesome challengers RMR rematch stage. I feel like Pain will probably win 2-1. I think Pain will finally start getting on top of Grayhound and win 2-1 in the end. To be fair, Pain and Grayhound's been a very, very good BO3 to watch because they're similar in ability, similar in playstyle, and, you know, it's just the same amount of clutches do happen. I do remember that BO1 on Nuke where I think Grayhound stuck by in the end and shoved Pain down to BO3s. Now, with Nip versus 0-0 Nation, 0-0 Nation just have no chance. Nip's going to just basically cruise on through and bash them through. Should be quick 2-0. And last but not least, it'll be Nip v Pain in a BO3. Last chance, winner goes through, and most likely will be Nip. And I'm going to say, if Nip beat Vitality, it's most likely it'll be Vitality going through. There's like 4 clear picks and 4 front runners for those last chance picks. And I'm going to say it's going to be up for Grayhound, Rooster, 0-0 Nation, and Pain to try and upset. The most likely team I feel like is going to upset and might sneak a last chance spot, even a lower bracket spot, will be Pain. Grayhound will be the next pick, and then 0-0 Nation and Rooster. We'll see what happens though. But overall, that's pretty much enough for my analysis. I feel like, you know, FaZe, Vitality, Nip, and OG are going to go through. Those 4 have been probably the strongest team in this group. Overall, with Pain and with Rooster and Grayhound, I do wish the AU teams could get through to the playoffs, but it's very, very unlikely. They're going to have to beat some very tough teams. But there's opportunity to do so with a weakened OG and a weakened Vitality, but I don't believe they're weakened enough that, Greyhound can smash them up or even Rooster can smash them up in the end. Rooster is probably the mega, mega outsider chance and dark horse for the event. And if Rooster managed to win a BO3 or even one or two BO3s, it'll be a huge rising for the AU scene as well, even if Greyhounders do as well, because it's going to say that, hey, AU can do something and, hey, they can just ruffle some feathers as well. And, hopefully, I gotta say right now, Rooster has been, doing very well with their boot camp in Poland, given the fact they skipped out on the RMRs for it as well, which was met by, some critical reception as well. To be fair, I gotta say, with Rooster, I could give them some clemency on this. I feel like they weren't probably going to make it to the majors, to be honest, because one spot was definitely going to be filled by IHC, and it's just going to be a battle between Adam Greyhound and all these other teams just for that one spot. And I feel like Rooster may have made the right decision here for it. And also, you got to realize the financial factors of Rooster as well. Is that compared with Rooster, if you guys do not know the AU scene that well, Rooster are not liked. They're not that liked compared to your Encores and your Greyhounds and AU scene. And Rooster is a bedroom org and also doesn't have any money yet whatsoever. So therefore, is relying heavily on sponsorships and stuff like that. And to get 5 players over and 5 players back for the RMR can be quite difficult and costly. And you got to remember these teams, these players are only in the early 20s and don't have money that they can just pull out of anywhere. They probably have to fundraise that money as well to go to places and stuff like that. And that's just a fact of the matter for it as well. I know some people have been critical of it, but I feel like the criticism, once you realize Rooster's situation, you understand why Rooster probably made that decision to just not fly back for the RMRs, because they got to pay for flights to and from it, and financial woes probably would have been the biggest issue there as well. I can give you probably one example of when I say that Rooster may not be able to fundraise it, and I'm just going to say one example would have been the bans that initially happened for the betting, where it was basically 2 Rooster players, which I think was ADK and Netic, and not really anything was said about it. So you got to put yourselves into Rooster's shoes there and be like, this is why we didn't come back. But anyways, just a sidebar that we can discuss later. But that's what I hope Rooster can do some damage. Now Greyhound, I'm not sure if they're out of their slump yet, okay? Because it's a tough one if they're out of their slump yet. They did thrash Vertex. They did basically devour Encore as well, and Encore looks pretty sharp as well. But we're gonna see what this is gonna be the tournament for Greyhound, okay? To see where they are at the moment. Because Greyhound really need a shining crown or shining jewel for their crown at the moment. They need to be able to perform in a tournament or get very, very deep at this stage, because AU really need a competitive team, just like Renegades was back in the day. Anyways, guys, that's it for the Group C analysis. I know you got a bit more in-depth analysis for Rooster, but hope you guys have a great day. Like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the video.